In this video, I'm gonna address the 10 most commonly asked questions about vocal coaching and singing lessons. I'm George Simeon, vocal coach, and since 2017, I've helped hundreds of people develop confidence in their voices and learn how to sing powerfully and beautifully. So let's go straight in. First question, how can I be sure that I have what it takes to be a good singer? Well, there are 3 things necessary to become a good singer, and they're not what you expect. The first one is a growth mindset, which means you believe that anything is learnable. The second one is discipline, and the third one is perseverance. What about talent, you ask? Studies show that while talent is real, it's much less important than focused work on your singing. Talent is actually something that's built over generations, and yeah, sure, some people get talent from the work their ancestors did before them. But you can still build talent in your family starting from zero right now. Even if you would have zero talent, which by the way, I never actually encountered because most people have more talent than they think they do, you can still develop the ability of singing and develop talent in your family tree. Just so you know, when I started singing, some of my musician friends told me that I have no talent for singing, and I didn't listen to them. I practiced a lot and I was able to improve my voice a lot, and many of my students were able to as well. Here are 2 examples.
Never last. That was just a dream, just a dream. So thank you, Jack Daniels on number 7. Tennessee whiskey got me drinking in heaven and earth.
Second question, is it too late for me to learn how to sing? Well, based on my experience with hundreds of people, lots of them being over 30, it's never too late, but it can be easier or harder depending on your mindset. Carol Dweck, Stanford researcher, in her book Mindset, actually talks about a fixed mindset and a growth mindset. A fixed mindset is when you think that people are born with a certain ability or talent and they can never learn new ones. And a growth mindset is when you actually believe that you can learn anything. As you age, if you don't learn new things, your mindset actually becomes more and more fixed. So that's why sometimes it's more difficult for older people to learn new stuff. But the good news is that growth mindset can be developed. But you have to be willing to learn new abilities, and especially learn abilities that you previously thought are impossible for you. Third question, what if I actually don't have time to commit to vocal lessons and practice? Well, that's okay, but first you have to ask yourself if improving your singing is actually a priority for you. Why do you want to do it? What's the actual emotional benefit if you learn singing? Ask yourself that and see if it's actually a priority for you. Second of all, make sure you don't have a distorted notion about how long you have to practice. If you work with a good vocal coach, a 1-hour one-on-one lesson weekly and 20 minutes of individual practice daily can actually work wonders for you if you actually commit to it. That's actually 3 hours and 20 minutes every week, so it's not that much. If you want to compare, just ask yourself how many time-wasting activities you're doing every week, because studies show that people on average waste around 10 hours a week just scrolling on social media. So ask yourself, can you use a third of that time to actually practice something that's gonna make you happier instead of more depressed? Fourth question, how long does it take to get good at singing? This is a question I get asked a lot as a vocal coach, but here's a different answer. It's not about how long it takes, it's about how many reps you put in. Not only that, but it's about how many quality reps you can put in. Moreover, it's about how many quality reps you can put in the right direction. Because yes, you can go in the wrong direction as well. Let me explain the first thing first. If you practice singing for 10 years for 1 hour a week, you get 520 hours. If you practice singing for 1 year for 10 hours a week, you still get 520 hours. Now for the second idea, how many quality reps? If I practice for 10 hours a week, but while practicing, I scroll social media and I have a beer with my buddy, it's certainly not gonna be the same as practicing intentionally and fully focused. Now for the third idea, how many quality reps in the right direction? It took me about 6 years, from 2013 to 2019, to actually train my voice to a point where I was pleased with it. Thing is, a big portion of those 6 years I practiced alone, I didn't get any help, and sometimes I was just messing up my voice instead of making progress. Every time I worked with a professional, I made progress 10 times faster. And what's interesting is that some of my students got 6 years of my progress in 1.5 years. So remember, it's not about how long, it's about how many quality reps in the right direction. Besides that, people start from different places. So I would have to hear your voice and know what your goals are to know how long it would take you to improve. Question number 5. What's the difference between singing lessons and vocal coaching? Well, vocal coaching is like singing lessons where you address emotional issues as well. It's like having a singing teacher and a psychologist work with you at the same time. A vocal coach is more like a mentor. He gets more involved. He keeps you accountable on your work at home. He helps you work on your repertoire, develop your style, and much more. Number 6, are online lessons as effective as in-person ones? Online lessons can be even more effective than in-person ones if you do them with the right coach. First of all, who would you rather respect more? An average singing teacher in your hometown that you know nothing about? Or the vocal coach that you've been watching online a few months by now and you really like and trust? Respect and belief are really important in the dynamic, because if you respect your coach more, you're actually going to place more importance on the work he does with you, and you're going to progress a lot faster. Moreover, a good vocal coach can pinpoint and work exactly on your specific problems, even if it's online. Besides that, there's other advantages like not wasting time in traffic, working from the comfort of your own home, maybe in your pajamas. The only disadvantage is that you might have to make some noise in your own home, which I know can be uncomfortable, but you might as well get used to it if you want to practice your voice. 7th question. Why would I need a vocal coach if I can practice online with all those free resources? Well, I can actually understand this because I tried to practice on my own watching stuff on the internet as well for a very long time. That's why I post free stuff on the internet as well. But you have to know the pitfalls of this. When you try to practice on your own, you don't have a specific and personalized plan for your specific voice. And even if the free things you find online can help you a bit, you don't actually know which ones are good for you. Besides that, I've seen lots of people that come to my lessons practice those exercises completely wrong and damaging their voice. And the big risk is that you can develop bad vocal habits that are harder to correct. When you're working on your own, you're actually aiming in the dark instead of having a mentor with a flashlight to show you around. And unfortunately, a lot of people that try on their own eventually get frustrated and give up, getting to the conclusion that it's not for them, when they were actually practicing the wrong way and they didn't have guidance. Number 8, what if I tried vocal lessons and they didn't work for me? If you're in this boat, I'm sorry you had this experience. Unfortunately, if you don't find the right coach, that can happen. Thing is, vocal lessons don't work for me is very different from this vocal coach wasn't right for me. If a contractor built you a house that fell down after 2 weeks, does that mean that houses are bad to live in? Number 9, why do some vocal coaches charge more than others? Well, here I've been in both boats as well. When I was a beginner vocal coach back in 2017, I was charging less because I wasn't very sure on my capabilities. It's not always the case, but generally, cheaper vocal coaches don't have the ability to pinpoint your specific problem. They will do generic warm-up exercises with you, and your progress will be very slow. You might actually lose motivation and give up. In the long run, a cheap vocal coach might cost you more time and money to get to the same results than working with a more experienced and expensive vocal coach. On the other hand, obviously not all expensive vocal coaches are good, but generally the ones that charge more and are really good at the same time are really worth it because they don't waste time and go straight to solving your specific problems. You gain a small victory on every session and your motivation is going to be strong. Some of them even keep you accountable in your individual practice and give you unlimited WhatsApp support. And usually a good vocal coach can get you in 4 months to the same results that a bad vocal coach can get you at in 1.5 years. Last question, number 10. How can I know that a vocal coach is right for me? If you watch their free videos online and you resonate with them and moreover, you actually try some of the free tips they give you and they work for you, that's a sure sign that if you work with them one-on-one, it's gonna help you a lot more. So make sure you check their online videos, practice what they say there, and if you can get a small victory from that, that's a good sign. Besides that, if they actually helped people with the same problem as you before, that's a really good sign as well. That's it, my friend. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, and all that stuff.